Traffic. It's the one place that turns confident riders into nervous wrecks. You can be the smoothest rider in an empty parking lot, but the moment you're surrounded by cars that don't see you, it's a different game. Hey, it's Matthew from Autozium, and today we're talking about 12 mistakes new riders make in traffic, the small, innocent things that can turn your daily commute into a disaster. And trust me, I've done almost every single one of them. Some I learned the hard way. But before we jump in, let me tell you a quick story. A guy named Ben took my safety class a few years back. He was in his 50s, finally bought his dream bike after decades of wanting one, a shiny Honda CB500F. Great machine. But one morning, riding to work, he made a mistake that nearly cost him his leg. It wasn't speeding, it wasn't showing off. It was something simple. And it's mistake number 7 on this list. So stick around. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, riding in blind spots. It's one of those mistakes every new rider makes at least once. Cruising next to a car's rear wheel, assuming the driver sees you because you can see them. But here's the truth. Most car drivers don't even realize motorcycles share the same roads, let alone the same lane. Their mirrors are angled for cars, their attention is on the traffic ahead, and you, sitting in that narrow slice of invisibility, might as well be a ghost. If you can't see a driver's eyes in their mirror, they can't see you. Period. You could have your headlight on, wearing a neon jacket, waving your arms. Doesn't matter. You're invisible in that blind spot. And when that car decides to merge or drift, you'll be the one paying for their mistake. The trick is simple. Never linger. Either pass decisively or hang back far enough that you're in clear view. And when you're overtaking, do it smoothly. Don't blast by at 30 miles per hour faster than traffic. Stay predictable, stay visible. Positioning matters too. The left tire track is often the best place to ride because it puts you in a driver's line of sight through their mirror. But that's not universal. You have to read the situation. On multi-lane roads, switch up your position based on where cars are around you. Every time you pass a vehicle, ask yourself, if they drifted right now, could I get out? If the answer's no, you're too close. Blind spots don't forgive hesitation. Ride like you're invisible and plan your moves like the other guy's about to make a bad one, because he probably will. 2, not leaving an escape route. In traffic, space is survival. A rookie mistake many new riders make is thinking it's enough to just follow the flow. Keep a safe distance, stay in lane, keep up. But that's not enough. Because when something goes wrong, and it will, you need somewhere to go. Cars have crumple zones. You don't. Your crumple zone is the few feet of space you left yourself to escape. That means you always ride with an out in mind. If the car ahead slams on the brakes, where do you go? Can you swerve into an open lane? Onto a shoulder? Is there a gap beside you? The best riders constantly scan. Mirrors, ahead, sides, escape lines. It's not paranoia, it's awareness. You're building a map of possible exits every few seconds. Let's say you're boxed in. Car ahead, truck beside you, tailgater behind. That's the danger zone. You're trapped with zero margin for error. The smart move? Create your space. Back off a little or speed up enough to clear the cluster. Never ride locked in. And at intersections or stoplights, same rule applies. Don't roll right up to the bumper of the car in front. Leave a full bike length, even more if the road's downhill. That way, if someone rear-ends you, you've got space to dart out of harm's way. A good rider's eyes aren't just looking for where to go, they're predicting what could happen next. Because riding safely in traffic isn't just about reacting fast. It's about not needing to react at all. Every second you spend thinking about your escape route is a second you've bought yourself in safety. Because when traffic gets unpredictable, space is the one luxury that saves lives. 3, stopping too close to cars at red lights. It seems harmless. You pull up behind a car, stop a few feet from their bumper, maybe look down at your phone or mirrors while waiting for the light. But here's what new riders forget. At any moment, someone behind you might not be paying attention. Maybe they're checking messages, fiddling with the radio, or just zoning out. When they look up, you're suddenly a part of their crumple zone. When you stop too close to the car in front, you give yourself zero options. If the vehicle behind doesn't slow down in time, you'll get pinned, your bike crushed between two bumpers. Even at low speed, that can mean broken legs, shattered fairings, or worse. So here's the golden rule: leave an escape gap, at least one full bike length, ideally more. That space gives you room to roll forward or to the side if something goes wrong. Keep your bike in first gear, eyes on your mirrors, and always angle your bars slightly to one side. That way, if you have to move, you're already halfway to safety. This also helps with visibility. When you stop offset from the car ahead, not directly behind it, you make yourself more visible to traffic approaching from behind. And when the light turns green, you can pull away smoothly without having to fight for space. You'd be surprised how many riders get rear-ended at stoplights because they treat red lights as rest stops. Don't zone out. That's when you're most vulnerable. At every stop, act like you're invisible and the car behind you's brakes are questionable. That extra space isn't paranoia. It's your insurance policy, one you hope you'll never need, but you'll be grateful for if you do. Number 4, not checking mirrors often enough. Here's a truth few beginners understand. Most motorcycle accidents don't start in front of you. They start behind you. It's easy to focus on what's ahead, the brake lights, the potholes, the traffic lights. But if you're not glancing at your mirrors every few seconds, you're missing half the story. Because cars don't always see you, and the one coming up behind might be the one that ends your ride. Your mirrors are your radar. Here, they tell you when a car's closing too fast, when someone's weaving through lanes, or when that impatient driver is about to tailgate you through a merge. But they only help if you use them often enough to matter. A good rule of thumb: check your mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds, and always before slowing down or changing lanes. When you're approaching a stoplight, double check what's coming up behind. If someone looks like they're not braking, roll forward, then flash your brake light, or pull between lanes if you have to. Movement catches attention more than a stationary target. Another pro tip: adjust your mirrors properly before you ride. You shouldn't have to move your head to see directly behind. And don't rely solely on mirrors. Do quick shoulder checks when changing lanes. Mirrors give you awareness. Shoulder checks give you confirmation. You'll notice experienced riders constantly scanning, eyes moving, mirrors flashing, always updating their mental map. It's not anxiety, it's survival instinct. The road's a dynamic environment. Threats change every second. Staying aware isn't about paranoia, it's about control. And the more you check your mirrors, the less likely you are to ever be surprised. Because the only surprises worth having on a motorcycle are the good ones, not the kind that come with screeching tires behind you. Number 5, staying in the wrong lane, position. Lane position is your best defense in traffic, but it's also one of the most misunderstood tools a rider has. Too many beginners just cruise dead center in their lane, thinking that's safest. But guess what lives right in the center of every traffic lane? Oil, coolant, brake fluid. Everything that drips from cars sits right where you're riding. That shiny streak in the middle of the lane after a rainstorm, that's not water. It's a slip waiting to happen. Riding smart means using lane position actively, not passively. You don't just pick a spot and stay there. You adjust it based on what's happening around you. In city traffic, the left tire track usually gives you the best view ahead and puts you squarely in a driver's mirror. But if you've got a tailgater behind or a car about to merge from your left, switch to the right tire track to give yourself space. Think of your lane like a chessboard. You're not reacting to one move, you're anticipating 3 ahead. You're constantly repositioning to see further, be seen earlier, and stay out of the conflict zones. And here's something most riders don't realize: where you sit in the lane changes how traffic treats you. When you ride assertively in the track closest to a driver's mirror, they register you as another vehicle. But hug the curb or hang dead center, and you'll vanish from their awareness. So don't just ride in your lane. Use your lane. Shift when your sightline changes. Move when conditions shift. Every few seconds, ask yourself, am I visible? Am I safe? Am I ready to move? Because on two wheels, visibility is survival, and your lane position is your language. Learn to speak it fluently. 6. Trying to keep up with cars. This is the ego trap every new rider falls into. You're rolling through traffic, cars zipping past, and you start thinking, I should keep up. You don't want to be that slow bike holding everyone up, right? So you match their speed, stretch your comfort zone a little, and before you know it, you're riding their ride instead of your own. Here's the thing, traffic speed isn't your responsibility. Your job isn't to keep up. Your job is to stay alive. Cars can stop faster. They have traction control, ABS, crumple zones. You don't. They can afford to make mistakes. You can't. Speed doesn't make you safer in traffic. Predictability does. If you're smooth, consistent, and visible, drivers will move around you. But if you're surging, tailgating, or forcing yourself to match their pace, you're robbing yourself of margin. And margin is what gives you options. If traffic's running too fast for your comfort, slide right, keep a steady lane position, and let them go. You'll catch them at the next light anyway. Trust me, you always do. The most confident riders I've ever seen aren't the fastest. They're the most disciplined. They know when to back off, when to move aside, when to let chaos pass them by. So ride your own ride. If that means sitting 5 miles under the limit until you're settled, do it. Confidence builds from control, not competition. And when you get that balance right, when you stop trying to keep up and start riding at your pace, that's when traffic stops feeling like a war zone and starts feeling like a rhythm. The road doesn't reward bravado, it rewards awareness. So slow down, breathe, and let the world rush past you. It's not going where you're going anyway. Number 7, panic braking in slow traffic. This is where most low speed crashes happen. Not from reckless speed, but from panic. A car stops short in front of you, and without thinking, you grab a handful of front brake like it owes you money. The front wheel locks, the fork dives, and in an instant, you're sliding across the lane wondering what just happened. That's exactly what happened to Ben, the guy from the story. Slow traffic, morning commute, nothing dramatic. A sudden stop, an overreaction, and boom, a simple front brake grab turned into a crash that nearly cost him a leg. See, your motorcycle's front brake is powerful, almost too powerful. In slow traffic, that front tire doesn't have the grip it does at speed. You've got weight transfer, uneven pavement, maybe a little oil from cars ahead. One abrupt squeeze, and you're done. The key is progressive braking, squeezing, not grabbing. Think of it like dialing in pressure, not flipping a switch. Cover your front brake lightly with 2 fingers so you're ready, but don't tense up. Your body should be loose, your clutch hand ready to modulate the crawl. And here's a pro habit. Look where you want to stop, not at the bumper in front of you. Target fixation is real. If you stare at that bumper, that's exactly where you'll end up. In stop and go traffic, your right hand should be smooth, your left should be patient, and your brain should stay 2 steps ahead. You can't prevent every sudden stop, but you can make sure you're not your own biggest threat when it happens. Smoothness isn't just skill, it's mindset. And when traffic gets choppy, calm hands always win. Not watching wheel movement. Most new riders watch bumpers. Experienced riders watch wheels. Because bumpers react after the driver makes a decision. But wheels? Wheels tell you the decision before it happens. It's subtle, but it's life-saving. A car's front tires twitch half a second before it starts turning or changing lanes. That's your cue. You can see it even when the driver doesn't use a signal, which, let's be honest, happens constantly. Start training your eyes to read tire movement. You'll begin to notice tiny tells, the angle shift, the roll forward, the weight transfer before a turn. That half-second warning is gold. It gives you time to roll off the throttle, adjust your position, or cover the brake before things get sketchy. It also helps with intersections. When you're crossing, scan the wheels of the cars waiting to turn. If one starts creeping as you enter the junction, that's your early warning. A quick glance can save you from being T-boned. This technique also applies to merging lanes. You'll see the cars about to drift over before they even start moving. Those tiny tire cues let you predict their bad decisions and act before you're boxed in. It's one of those habits that separates seasoned riders from survivors by luck. Because the best riders aren't reacting to traffic, they're reading it like a story. Every wheel rotation is a sentence, and once you learn to read it, the whole road starts speaking to you. Bumpers lie, turn signals lie. But tires tell the truth every single time. Number 9, lane splitting, like it's a video game. Here's where confidence meets common sense. Lane splitting, when done right, can be one of the most efficient and safest ways to move through clogged traffic. But done wrong? It's a first-class ticket to the emergency room. The problem is, too many riders treat it like a game, weaving between cars, blasting through tight gaps, or flying past mirrors like they're dodging obstacles in a racing sim. That kind of riding doesn't make you skilled. It makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability is what kills riders in traffic. If you're going to lane split, do it deliberately. Your goal isn't speed, it's flow. Move no more than 10 to 15 miles per hour faster than the surrounding traffic, and always stay ready to stop instantly. If the gap feels tight, it is tight. There's no shame in backing off. A clipped mirror or panicked swerve from a driver can end a ride faster than any thrill you'll get from squeezing through. Keep your head high and your eyes scanning the tops of cars for clues, gaps widening, brake lights flaring, or wheels twitching. Those are your early warnings that a driver might change lanes without checking mirrors. And always, keep your fingers covering the clutch and front brake. You're not splitting lanes, you're surfing them. Here's something to remember. Lane splitting isn't about showing off. It's about staying visible, controlled, and smart. When you move with precision instead of impulse, you stop being part of the chaos and start flowing through it. You want every car around you to think, that rider knew what they were doing. Because skill doesn't shout, it glides. 10. Not reading driver body language. If you really want to ride like a pro, stop watching cars. Start watching drivers. Cars don't make decisions, people do. And if you can read their body language, you'll know what they're about to do before they do it. Most drivers telegraph their intentions in little ways. A quick shoulder glance before a lane change, a head tilt toward a side mirror, a hand shift on the steering wheel. Even the way a car floats in its lane can tell you something. They're distracted, reaching for a drink or texting. It's like playing poker at 60 miles per hour. You're looking for the tells. If you see a driver's head move toward your lane, prepare for a swerve. If their hand drops low or their eyes dip down, they're probably on their phone. You can't trust them to notice you, so act like they won't. This is where awareness becomes your greatest weapon. Keep your focus wide. Don't tunnel on one car. You're scanning the whole field, looking for micro movements, those half-second clues that say, this person's about to do something dumb. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. And the more you ride, the sharper it gets. The best riders don't just react to traffic, they anticipate it. They sense when a driver's about to drift, when a car's going to turn late, when someone's inching too close. It looks like magic from the outside, but it's really just awareness built from thousands of miles of observation. Remember, you're not fighting traffic, you're reading it. And every clue you spot before it happens, that's one more move that keeps you upright. Number 11, riding in the middle of clusters. You've seen it. That one rider stuck in the middle of a pack of cars, boxed in with no space to move forward or back. It's one of the most uncomfortable and dangerous places to be. Traffic flows in waves, and as a motorcyclist, you never want to be caught in the middle of one. The car ahead might slam brakes, the one behind might be texting, and the one beside you might drift into your lane. You're surrounded, and you've got nowhere to go. The smart move? Find your pocket. That's your safe zone, a stretch of open space that gives you a bubble between clusters. Sometimes it means rolling off the throttle for a few seconds, letting the pack ahead move away. Other times it means accelerating slightly to clear the one behind. Either way, your goal is simple. Control your space. Think of it like breathing room on the road. The moment you're surrounded, your options vanish. But when you're in your pocket, you own that moment. You've got time to brake, room to swerve, and clarity to react. And here's the psychological trick: when you ride with space, your stress drops. You stop reacting, start observing. Every mirror glance, every movement ahead feels slower, more manageable. It's one of those habits that separates riders who survive traffic from those who merely endure it. You can't always control what cars do, but you can control your position among them. So don't ride in the herd. Find your rhythm, find your pocket, and guard it like your life depends on it. Because in traffic, it literally does. Hash 12. Assuming everyone sees you. This one's the silent killer. New riders think visibility gear, LED lights, and loud pipes make them invincible. But here's the reality: drivers barely see other cars, let alone a thin silhouette on two wheels. You could be glowing like a Christmas tree, and half the people around you would still pull out in front of you. Why? Because they're not looking for motorcycles. Their brains are wired to notice cars, big shapes, four wheels, familiar movement. You're a small, fast anomaly that their subconscious filters out. So ride like you're invisible. Not scared, strategic. Position yourself where you're hardest to miss. Offset behind vehicles, never directly in blind spots. Headlights angled for maximum visibility. Use lane changes and body movement to catch eyes. Not aggression, just motion that draws attention. And never assume a green light means go. Scan every intersection, every side street. Expect the car to pull out. Expect the pedestrian to step off the curb. Expect the unexpected, because that mindset saves lives. I once heard a veteran instructor say, "Ride like you're invisible, but act like you're being hunted." It stuck with me, not because it's scary, but because it's true. When you accept that most drivers won't see you, you start riding proactively, placing yourself where you can't be ignored. That's the paradox of motorcycle safety. The more invisible you assume you are, the more visible you actually become. Because awareness isn't about being paranoid, it's about being ready. And readiness is what brings you home every time. Traffic riding isn't about being the fastest or most skilled. It's about awareness, space, and patience. You can't control traffic, but you can control how you move through it. And if you do that right, you'll ride for decades. If you don't, one small mistake can change everything. So go back through these 12 mistakes, fix the ones you recognize, and next time you're stuck in rush hour chaos, ride like you're already a pro. Because confidence isn't about aggression, it's about control. I'm Matthew from Autozium. Ride smart, stay smooth, and I'll see you in the next one.